Hoiberg will launch the three. Oh, he hits!
Clobber to left field. Another double for Washington. This time it's Nick Kresnak.
But no doubt, 2-run, go-ahead homer in the 7th. The bat flip puts the exclamation mark on a comeback.
An RBI knock from Kresnak, who's had an incredible night. Sam Hoiberg, the son of the coach, to steal the bucket.
Welcome back. The Sports Section, Episode 7. Joined, as always, by former Washington Huskies baseball player Nick Kresnak and our point guard, Sam Hoiberg, and the point guard of the undefeated Nebraska Cornhuskers. Congrats, Sammy. Looked like an exciting weekend for you guys.
Yeah, man, that was some of the most fun I think I've ever had playing basketball. Just absolutely crazy game against Kansas State. I don't know how many ties and lead changes there were. I saw in the graphic there was like at least 12 at one point, and obviously got the dub. Made some clutch plays in the game, so that made it a little bit more fun for me too. And one came out, had a double-digit game.
What a last couple of seconds for number one, baby.
Yeah, it was a very odd finish to the game. Obviously got that rebound and went to the line, and then I made the first free throw. That was the real pressure one, and there was 0.6 on the clock. When I was shooting the free throw, nothing was changed. They didn't look at the time after the play. I was told to miss the second free throw, so I intentionally missed. And they called timeout. The clock's reading 0.1. They knew it was probably a little bit off, so they went to go look at it. They go back 2 plays and they said there was 1.2 when I was shooting the free throw, which completely changes the strategy. I would have tried to make the second one if we knew that. And they put 0.9 on the clock, I believe, which was still obviously a tough situation for them. But luckily, Price made a great play, slapped it out of the way, and got the dub.
I know our guy Krezzy got a new job over here. Congrats on that, by the way, man.
Appreciate it, brother. Looking forward to it. Yeah, going to be starting up 2 weeks from tomorrow. So we've got to enjoy these last few weeks before we get rolling.
You got a little vacation going right now, or?
No, not really, but it'll just be a pretty chill couple of weeks. So I'm going to try and enjoy it as much as I can.
Nice. Are you going to the Niner game tomorrow night?
I am. Yes, I'll be at Levi's tomorrow. Hopefully we can stick it to the Panthers.
Indeed. I guess this episode will come out Tuesday. So what's your score prediction for what happened last night for those listening on Tuesday?
Well, since I'm a huge Niners fan and I will be repping my number 13 jersey at the game tomorrow, I think Purdy is going to throw for 1 billion yards and 5 touchdowns. So give me the Niners and give me the spread as well.
All the points. There you go. Sammy, I saw a great stat on Twitter. Shout out to T3 Bracketology, because that guy rules. Your brother put me on him.
He's the best.
You guys now have the longest active win streak in the country, going back to last year. You have 17 straight non-con victories, which is the longest active streak in the country. And you're the only team with a Diamond Head Classic Championship, a Crown Championship, and a Hall of Fame Classic Championship. Some excellence right there.
Hey, we'll take it. Obviously, we want the big one, the NCAA tournament win, but we'll take the little tournaments. I mean, they've been a blast to play in, all of them. Just winning a tournament is a special feeling, so being able to get a few of those has been pretty sweet. I didn't know that about the non-con, though, that we have 17 straight wins. I mean, we really want to go undefeated this year in non-con. I think that would be 12 wins, and it would put us at 10-0 going into our first 2 Big Ten games, which we do have some non-con after that, but that would be big time.
That'd be pretty exciting. So let's talk about the Kansas City tournament a little bit. Give me the rundown. What was it like?
Yeah, so we knew New Mexico was going to be a really solid team. They have a really good coach. He came from, I believe, San Diego last year, and I think they were a 30-win team, made the tournament. And they're really well coached. They're scrappy. Their whole thing is to make you turn it over, which we didn't handle the best. I think we had 18 turnovers. Got up big in that game, which was big for us because we didn't have a good start against Oklahoma. And then they cut it to 4 in the second half when we had a 20-point lead in that game. And it got stressful there for a minute, and we were able to pull it out. fought some adversity, and that primed us well for the K-State game. And they're so talented, man. Like, they have so many good shooters, just skilled guys, athletes. We knew that was going to be a battle. They just killed Mississippi State the night before. They basically had a home crowd. We had a very solid crowd. It was probably 65-35 K-State, but felt a little bit like an away game. And I mean, like we talked about before, it was just an absolute battle, and coming out on top of that's so big for us to build the resume, and just a fun moment for us as a team.
That's pretty sweet. Chris, I don't know if you got to watch either of those games, but I texted Sam on like Saturday morning that I felt like a bum because I fell asleep on Friday night when they were playing.
That was a bad move, Mousy.
I know. I missed our guy.
Oh God.
Yeah, that was on me. Hand up.
Pretty cool. I'm getting some national attention now from like John Rothstein. He tweeted about me, which in the preseason I looked at what he said about our team, and I probably had us in the teens for power rankings in the Big Ten, but he didn't even have me listed as a potential rotation player, and now he's tweeting about me being one of the better glue guys in the Big Ten. So we're gonna take that and run with
He's
it.
eating his words right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how he made he just looked at, I guess, who came in and maybe knew I was a walk-on when I came in and just assumed I was just an end-of-the-bench guy. But I've been I mean, this is my 4th year in a row playing. Come on, John. You're supposed to be the college basketball guy.
I did like how he threw up the glue bottle on that graphic.
Yep, that was our team. They just put his tweet on. Yeah, but that was pretty funny. I've been told to try to get an NIL deal with the glue brand by one of our GAs. They said, yeah, that'd be sweet to just have the lifetime supply of glue.
Yeah.
Get a little Elmer's glue sponsorship.
Yeah, I don't know what maybe they'll pay me a lot, but I don't know if a glue NIL deal will do a lot for me.
I wonder what people would think if they just like walked into your house and saw boxes and boxes of glue.
Care packages from Elmer's. Send them over, Elmer's. I'll take it. I'll give it away as gifts or something.
That'd be really good.
I'll stay boys up with some Elmer's.
Yeah, send us some Elmer's.
I'll take all the Elmer's I can get.
What are your NIL deals that you have right now?
I don't have many like going on currently. I've done quite a few, but the revenue share kind of like you don't have to necessarily work with brands to get paid that way. But I've done things in the past with like Allo Fiber, which is like Wi-Fi company. I've done a couple like Husker shops, local shops, and like random shoe brands and stuff. So it's been, I mean, pretty cool to do that stuff.
NIL was not around when you were at UW, was it, Chris?
It was like just starting to become a thing. Actually, no. I think NIL happened the year after I left. But
2020, your first year?
yeah.
Yeah, because it came the summer I got to school, which was 21.
Yeah. That sounds right, because there were a few guys on our team that definitely would have had some NIL stuff going on, and I don't remember that happening. So it was not a thing when I was at UW for sure.
You missed out on your paycheck, man. So before we kind of deep dive into Nebraska, I do want to talk more about you and the Huskers, Sam. But the people have been liking our fantasy updates. Did you guys win today?
Dude, I got shafted today. I played against Jahmyr Gibbs and fucking Wandale Robinson.
I played against Wandale.
Jahmyr Gibbs had 54 against me, and then Wandale Robinson had 31. Those guys scored. Yeah, those guys combined scored more than my whole team. So
we're playing Jahmyr Gibbs, and I was projected to win huge until he dropped 55, and now I still have a chance. It's giving me 39%, but it's not looking good. It's down 128 to 93, and I got Kyron Williams, who just started, and the Rams kicker, and then Juwan Jennings. So, I mean, there's a chance. He's got Chuba Hubbard, who's only projected 4.
So I played against Wandale, Sam played against Gibbs, and Krez played against both of them. I'm in a real tight battle right now with our guy Piazza, who is the second worst team in the league by record. Again, I have the third most points in the league. Not as big of a week as usual for me. I think I'm going to finish with around like 125-ish. Piazza's in like the upper 90s right now. He has Baker and he has the Rams kicker, so it's going to be a tight one. But I had JSN who had 2 touchdowns. I had I had Derrick Henry who had 2 touchdowns, and I had Emmanuel Wilson who had 2 touchdowns. The 3 of those guys combined for like 87 points. And then I had AJ Barner because both my tight ends are out. AJ Barner, Stephon Diggs, and Josh Allen who combined for like 14 points. So I need to play some defense to hang on this week. But if I go 6-8, like all I have to do is win out and I can make the playoff.
Hey, you just got to get in and get hot. It's all about just making the playoffs, and then anything can happen.
You've been talking a lot of game about your team, Mounsey. If you don't make the playoffs, this would be, just a horrible look.
Well, I've been in last place the whole season. I'm not supposed to make the playoffs, but I score a shit ton of points every week. I score like 135 a week.
Got to play defense, man. That's what we've talked
I know.
about. Got to get the boys playing some D.
Defense wins championships, bro.
It does.
That's just like us. Our coach was talking about today. We have like the worst free throw defense in the country, which is the percentage that teams make their free throws. Teams are just not missing free throws against us. So we got to do something at the foul line to fix it.
You gotta play better defense when other guys are shooting foul shots, all right?
Yeah. That's on me. I'm going to take it on the chin.
It is. So speaking
The
of
Husker fans in the behind the hoop just got to start like mooning the guy or something.
You heard it here, Husker fans. If you're listening, moon
Yeah,
Husker.
pull those pants down.
We need some crazy things to happen.
we got the full mast fan already, and now we're gonna have the moon fan.
Full moon out tonight, baby.
So speaking of your guys' offense, you guys are averaging what, over 80 points. I don't know exactly what the number is, but you have 3 straight games with multiple 20-point scores. And I did see a stat under your dad over the last 3 years. When you guys score 80 points or more, you're 34-7. It's a pretty good number there. And the offense has really been firing on and above that 80 mark. So
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this a lot. We have a lot of firepower. We have so many shooters, and we move the ball well, which is just key to scoring. And we play at a fast pace, so I think you're going to see us above that 80 mark a lot this season. I don't see any reason why we can't hit that number every single game. But yeah, I mean, if we can guard at a high level, we should have a really successful year.
well, and we've talked about how good of a shooting team you guys are, but go back to that Saturday game. You guys did shoot 54% from the field, which is a great number, but only 25% from 3. And Price had 21 and he makes 5 threes. But other than that, not a lot of guys were really hitting from deep. But I feel like that's kind of something that you want to experience in the non-con. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like teams that can get that experience winning tight games and games in different ways are often better equipped for March. What do you think about that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, just the whole thing of battling adversity is so important. We didn't have a ton of it early on last year, and we really struggled when it came to Big Ten play with that, and we were so up and down. I think largely due to not being able to handle adversity very well. But yeah, I mean, even New Mexico, we started off really hot from 3, but I don't think we finished great. And Kansas State, I don't know the percentage we were from 2, but it was really good. And we're one of the highest 2-point percentage teams in the country right now. So the narrative that we live and die by the 3 was something we wanted to kill. And I mean, you don't want to do that by missing shots, but showing that we can have an off night from the 3 and still put up a lot of points and win a game is huge. And like you said, we're going to be much better prepared for March because of these close games where we may have not had our perfect night.
I feel like that's perfectly said because obviously you guys have great shooters, but you're not going to be able to just stroke it from behind the arc every single night, you know? So like you said, being able to win those games when you're not hitting the threes, that's like invaluable down the stretch, I feel like.
100%. And then you have a guy like Connor Sejan who has not had the best start to the season. He can get hot in a hurry. He had 22 on BYU in the exhibition, which unfortunately doesn't go into his shooting stats, but he's only like 25% from 3 right now, and that is very unlike him. So we have more guys that are capable. I mean, I didn't even attempt a 3 versus Kansas State. My confidence has been growing with my shot. So we have more in the tank. And you look at a game like the FIU one where we really were shooting it great and made like 17 threes above a 50% clip. Like when that's happening, we're going to win big. I don't think that FIU team was as bad as we probably made them look, but we just played really well. So when we're firing on all cylinders, we're going to be a tough out.
You were 6 for 6 from the field in that Kansas State game, and I think I texted you about it on Saturday or Sunday. At least the part of the game that I watched before I fell asleep, which was probably the first 30 minutes in game time, so into the second half. But I texted you that I thought that teams had to really respect your guys' shooting so much, especially with rank, that the defenders were pulled out of the key so much, and it seemed like you had so many easy drives to the bucket where you're just getting wide open layups or one-on-ones in the paint without the 7-foot big man. And we heard Rank talk about that when he came on the show, but it seems like you guys are really spreading the floor. Is that kind of part of the game plan?
100%. We run a 5-out system, which has our big pulled out, and we couldn't really do that last year because our bigs weren't the best shooters or passers. So having Rank to do that, to step out and be able to make threes where they have to stay on him, and then he can also create and pass to us when we're cutting into an open lane is so big. And then, yeah, like I made all 6 baskets at the rim. 3 of them were, wide open layups. Like I didn't have any contest, and that's so much like what you were saying is due to Rank being on the perimeter and having that 5-out system to where the big isn't in the paint. It makes the game so much easier for us, and we're able to score at the rim because of it.
Was the travel to Kansas City, by the way? Was there any snow on the ground in Lincoln or KC?
It's actually beautiful weather. It was rainy, but when it wasn't raining, it was pretty nice. I think probably mid-50s, so no issues. We bus there, bus back, and it felt like a short 3-hour bus ride since we just done about 4.5 one to Sioux Falls the week before.
I wanted to ask Krez about this too. Do you guys have any like crazy travel stories?
From when I was at Washington,
Yeah.
I actually do have a funny one. It wasn't like anything to do with the travel that got fucked up or anything like that, but I remember when we went down to play UCLA. So we flew from Seattle to LAX. I think this was actually on the trip back. So this was after on Sunday night or whatever when we were flying home after the series. And it was during March, so March Madness was on. And I forget who Gonzaga was playing, but it was the game where Jalen Suggs hit that like half quarter. And yeah, that was it. They were playing the Bruins, and we were like our whole team we were like on the tarmac getting ready to take off, and everyone on the flight was watching the game, and he hit that shot, and I just remember like our whole team was like going fucking nuts, and like they were screaming, yelling on the plane, and I just remember one of the flight attendants comes over the loudspeaker and is like, "All right, we need to like tone it down here a little bit, like be respectful of everyone else's like quiet time, privacy, all that stuff." But I don't really have any crazy travel stories, but I do remember that because that was a fucking insane shot. And then uh, the flight attendants told us to shut our mouths, so that was a fun time.
We had a company. I'm not going to say that. I don't even really remember the name, to be honest. Every single time we got on the plane, we sat on it for at least an hour. I heard that I think Iowa used the same company, and I heard one of the McCaffrey brothers chewed out the staff because they had the same issues, and they were sitting on the tarp for like 3 hours. But that was a consistent issue. And then last year, we were about to go on the plane on our trip to Oregon. We were doing the Oregon Seattle trip, and the plane just wasn't working, so we had to leave at like 7 o'clock at night and got there late. And we ended up winning both games, so it worked out for us. But that was probably the biggest inconvenience we've had.
I don't know if you remember this, but it was hilarious to me when you guys played at Washington. My dad goes to every UW basketball game, has forever. I went to every game growing up. But it was like the night after that game, and me and Charlie were watching at our house. And I think the next day, Charlie just sends me a picture, and I hadn't seen it. And it was just our dads, like after the game, standing next to each other on the court. But it was super funny, and he didn't even send it to me. Charlie did. I think your dad took the picture. It was really good.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, was he cheering for us? Do you know that?
He wasn't wearing Washington gear at that game,
Okay, we'll take
so
that. Neutral?
He was
he
neutral
de-
that game.
he definitely follows along. He definitely cheers for the Huskers
We
win.
love that.
Honorary Huskers fan.
Yeah, no doubt. I did want to ask you one more thing about that K-State game, Sam. PJ Haggerty looked really good for the Wildcats. I saw he led all scorers with 27, and we got to watch him for a year at TCU, and he impressed me a little bit, but he was, I think, like the number 3 impact transfer in the portal this year out of Memphis. Were you impressed by his game? Do you think that translates?
Yeah, I mean, he is just insane in like kind of the middle area where those are the toughest shots to hit, and he is ridiculous touch. I mean, puts it high on the glass, and it seems like it goes in every single time. We thought we contained him pretty well, and he still ended up with a really good stat line, and it was like above 50% from the field. Jamarcus started out the game on him. I thought he did a really good job, and then I was guarding him late, and I had a couple stops on him. He scored on me a few times as well, but I mean he's a really good player. I kind of compare him to like the college Shea because he's a really good at drawing fouls. He actually tried to draw one on me late in the game and kind of uppercut. He swung his arms at me, and I was back. I didn't foul him. They didn't call it, but he he knocked my chin up, and my teeth went up, and I chipped 2 of my bottom teeth with like a minute left.
No way.
That was one added element to the free throws late in the game, as I was feeling these like razor sharp teeth on my bottom on the bottom row.
Oh my God. Have you gotten those fixed yet?
Yeah. Got them fixed the next morning.
Boy.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I feel like I might have buried the lead here. The flagrant in the New Mexico game. Holy
Oh.
shit.
I almost forgot about that.
Did you see
Yeah,
the video of this, Krez?
No, what happened?
Okay, have Sam explain it.
Yeah, so Connor Sejan, he set like it wasn't dirty or anything, but he set a real physical screen on their point guard who was playing well.
Wait, Mounsey, was this the punch that you were telling me about?
Yeah, I texted you about it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, how did this transpire? What the hell?
Yeah, we didn't realize that Connor had set a hard screen on him, but you look back, it wasn't a dirty play by him. He just was being physical, and then there was kind of a loose ball that happened, and Connor was in the middle of it, and the ball was out of the play by the time that number 1 came over, and he just kind of popped him from the side, and he chipped a tooth on that play. But yeah, we were doing this because we saw it happen, and the refs didn't see it, and then they looked back and they ejected it. But it was, I mean, one of the dirtier plays that I've ever seen in a game. Straight up punch.
Did he get dropped, or was it just a little? He went to the ground.
I'm gonna pull up this video and show it to the screen. I told Connor to put this in his. He does YouTube. He does like vlogs.
He got cold clock.
We always give him it for like his headlines, like D1 Hooper gets in a fight or like something like that in a game. Hold on, I got.
He got absolutely cold clock.
Dude, I'm shocked that video like isn't all over social media, or is it?
It was a little bit.
It was semi-viral. I'm a little surprised it didn't get more national news.
Yeah, I feel like when
told
when something like that
on his vlog, I made an AI edit.
A little counter punch. That's awesome.
That's so good.
But yeah, if you guys see Connor's headline in it, or his header for his YouTube video, we're trying to make him put "I got in a fight in a Division I basketball game," and then have him put the AI clip of him punching back after he got punched.
He's 1-0 professionally fighting.
With AI.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. With the AI video. No one needs to see the real video. Just get the AI video out there.
Yeah, because I was watching that game live and I totally missed it live. I don't think the camera like had the right angle on it because it was in transition. So I think the camera was on the ball and I didn't really see what happened at all, and the broadcasters didn't see it either. And then they showed the replay and they were like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And so I had kind of assumed that you guys might have missed it. And so I texted Charlie at like halftime and I was like, "Wait till you see the video or the replay." of this flagrant. He was like, "Oh, dude, we all saw it right when it happened. Like that was nuts."
Yeah, he just popped him. It's kind of hard to see, but it was. I mean, it was dirty.
Did you see the apology statement that guy put out?
We did.
What was it, half-assed?
He didn't see it till like the next day, but he DM'd Connor and felt pretty bad about it.
It was ChatGPT, Krez.
Of course it was. I mean, if you're punching someone in a basketball game, probably like CD Lamb, not the brightest person ever.
Yeah, that guy. I'm out on CD right now. All right, let's talk a little bit of other college basketball around the country. A really good week of hoops last week. Did either of you guys watch any specific games that you want to talk about?
The Illinois game was awesome. Illinois Bam.
I think we texted about the end of that first half, Sam. It was fireworks. I think there were 6 straight threes at the end of the first half.
Yeah, and they weren't easy ones either. It's not like they were shooting wide open ones. They're pulling from deep. Those are some electric offenses.
Illinois is really good. I know they have Peja Stojakovic. I can't say his name. Is that it?
It's Andre.
Or yeah, but his dad is.
Yeah, Paige's
right?
son, Andre. I
Yeah.
think it's Andre. It's Andrej. But he's tough.
Yeah, well, and they're calling the Illinois starting 5 the Baltic 5, I believe.
Are they all like Eastern European?
Yeah, I think it's the Balkan 5.
Yes, thank you.
And Brad Underwood, I don't know if it's still his Twitter profile, but after they got all the recruits, someone made an AI photo of him like in an orange tracksuit with like a orange, I don't know what you call that kind of hat, in the like streets of a Baltic country. It's hilarious.
Nice. Well, and it is Feast Week, which is always kind of, I feel like, the pinnacle of non-conference college basketball. And Illinois is going to play UConn on Friday. That game is at Madison Square Garden. But UConn just hosted Arizona, who we've talked about has had just a juggernaut non-conference schedule. In Arizona, this was number 4 versus number 3 national matchup. Arizona went to Storrs, Connecticut, and knocked off UConn. Did either of you guys get to see any of that game? It was awesome.
Yeah, we were at our team dinner in Kansas City when it was on, but I was paying attention to it. I mean, that could be a Final Four preview right there. Those teams are obviously amazing, and Koa Pete is just a monster, not slowing down at all.
Arizona now has wins over number 3 at the time, Florida, number 15 at the time, UCLA, and number 3, UConn. And then they go, I believe both games are in Birmingham. I could be wrong, but they play Auburn and Alabama next week.
Yeah, I mean, just a brutal slate for them. But it's interesting because, like, if you win those games, you're obviously in great position to be like a 1 seed. But if you don't, then you're, I mean, probably not worried about not making the tournament just because they're such a good team. But like your seed line could drop early on in the season just because you have all those losses. But I mean, obviously they're not losing, so they're set up really well right now.
You like those tough games, though, right? Because you have the opportunity to win, and if you win, those are huge wins. But if you lose, they're also not bad losses either.
Yeah, I really dislike playing in bye games because you have not much to gain and everything to lose. But yeah, I mean, it's just more fun to go into games where you are kind of, I don't know how to phrase this to make it sound like you're not caring as much about the other games, but like you don't feel as bad if you lose against a really good team because you know it's not going to hurt your resume all that much, and you don't have that kind of added pressure layer, I would say. But like the games we just played against really good teams, like back to back, that's like high pressure for like that was 48 hours straight in a back to back, and it felt really nice to get away with 2 wins there and just like a big exhale after you get the dubs.
Well, and you guys tell me if you disagree, but I feel like college basketball, you really get rewarded a lot more than any other sport for having good losses. And I think that people can sometimes get blinded by the good losses as to the average wins or, however you want to choose to compare that. But I feel like it's an interesting dynamic compared to football or baseball at the collegiate level, because if you go and play a top 10 team in basketball and you lose to them and they end up being a top 6 seed in the tournament, you're not really going to get punished for it at all, are you?
No, and it's interesting because I feel like that's almost more of a thing for non-con games because in conference, it almost gets thrown out the window a little bit. It's just like every conference game matters the same kinda, unless obviously you're beating a top 5 team in Purdue or something like that, but, yeah, it's almost just a plus to have it on your schedule regardless, as long as you keep it respectable. If you get pounded, that can really hurt you, but, I mean, yeah, playing tough non-con games is honestly a really big advantage for your resume.
And that goes like right back to I'm just relating to this to college baseball, but it's the same thing. Like strength of schedule is huge in college baseball. And the sports are similar in an aspect where anyone can beat anyone, you know? Like it's not like football where a really bad team is going to go out and beat a really good team. Like that happens way less in football as compared to basketball and baseball. And so the tough matchups can really only reward you unless, like Sam just said, you just get blown out of the water.
Well, in baseball too is so dependent on RPI at the collegiate level, and that was definitely the key metric in college basketball up until when did you say, Sam? Maybe like 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, it was whenever computers came out. I mean, that completely took I mean, RPI is almost non-existent now. They still do it, but no one uses it.
Yeah, and RPI is really the only metric that the baseball selection committee looks at, and they kind of say that, which makes sense because there's less metrics to really analyze. But what do you think when it comes tournament time? Is it pretty much your Ken Palm rating? Would you say that's the number one metric?
Well, I'd say they kinda use a mix just because KenPom has some preseason biases, which normally by the end of the year evens out quite a bit. They use the net a lot now. That came out recently. That's kind of their sorting tool, and it's not a ranking, but, that, like, takes into account who you're playing, how much you win by, and stuff like that. So I think they kinda use I don't know exactly what it is, but I know net 100%. They definitely look at KenPom, maybe Bart Torvik as well, and there's some other computer things that I believe they use just for the analytics, but, yeah, I mean, it's a whole lot of things now, and RPI is really a thing of the past in college basketball. But, like, one thing from the other side of it, like, if you do not have a really hard schedule, they've talked about teams like Iowa State doing this in recent years. If you play some really bad teams, they just absolutely destroy them, and that is one of the most important things is getting your net high is winning big. So if you don't schedule tough non-con games and you just blow the bad teams out of the water, that can be really good for net and look really good by the end of the year.
So you mentioned Iowa State really quick. I've wanted to ask you about this for a couple weeks, and I keep forgetting. Did was TJ Otzelberger under your dad at
He
one
was,
point?
yep. He was there when my dad got there under McDermott, and then, he was there for a couple of years under my dad as well.
So when I was growing up, going to every UW basketball game, TJ Otzelberger was on the Washington staff under Lorenzo Romar, and this was prior to him popping out of his medium-sized shirts. And I think it's so funny now. I think it's awesome that he's just so jacked because he just wasn't like that really as much when I was growing up and seeing him on the sidelines. It's so funny to me.
Yeah, I don't remember TJ wearing shirts like that back in the day either. I mean, they obviously had to wear suits on the sideline, but, maybe maybe he saw an opportunity when the suits became a thing of the past and it was like, "I'm gonna just show off my pipes when I'm coaching now."
I know Coach Hoiberg is a big fan of the no suits, right?
Yeah, well, he was one of the first people to stop wearing a tie because it kinda, I think, bothered his, he had heart issues, so I think it kinda bothered him, and I don't know exactly what the, like, factor was that made him not like it, but, he stopped wearing ties, and that kinda started going around, and then by the time he came back to Nebraska, no one's I mean, not many are wearing suits anymore.
So we mentioned Auburn. Their only loss this season was to, at the time, number one Houston, who is still undefeated. That was a 1 point loss. And props to Auburn because 4 of their next 5 games are against ranked opponents. They played number 7 Michigan, number 7 NC State, number 4 Arizona, back to back to back. Then they play Chattanooga, and then they play number 1 Purdue to finish out the calendar year. Let's go back to number 1 Purdue, because we've mentioned them a couple times over the last few episodes, but my goodness, they were in the Bahamas last week and they fucking stomped Texas Tech. Number 15 Tech by 30.
Yeah, I wasn't able to watch that game, but I mean, you know how complimentary I am of Purdue and their players, and obviously Matt Painter's system. They're so damn good, and when they're on, we ran into it last year at their place. They made like 18 of 26 threes, and there's just nothing you can do when they're playing really well, and that is why I've thought they were the number 1 team in the country. Why I wasn't worried when they had a tight game with Oakland early on without Kaufman-Renn, who was just being an absolute monster on the glass this year too, which he wasn't really last year. He was a good rebounder, but not like this. I think he had like 41 rebounds the last 3 games, I believe.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Joe Lunardi has started releasing bracketologies, by the way, and has Purdue as the number 1 overall. I have said it in the past. I hate preseason rankings. I don't think bracketology in November means anything. But just so you know, Lunardi does have the undefeated Huskers as the second to last team in the tournament, as an 11 seed, having to go to Dayton, Ohio, and play in the first 4.
It's so funny. I absolutely despise the November bracketology, by the way. But
it means nothing.
There's also a site that has it based on like resume currently, and we're a 2 seed. So take that, Lunardi.
Get some. So let's look ahead to your guys' week. Sam, this episode comes out Tuesday, so tonight, for everybody listening, you guys have Winthrop. What do you know about them?
Yeah, they're a really good team. They're honestly a team that I could see being a good win for us come March, because they were at Arkansas last week and had a shot to win at the buzzer. And obviously Arkansas is a really good team. Almost won at a really good Michigan State team not long ago. Winthrop, really well coached, some really talented players. One of their guys, I think his name is Kareem Rozier. He played for Duquesne, who we played 2 years ago, who actually won a tournament game that year. He's about probably 5'8", but he had 15 points as a freshman against us. And he's a really good player. He made like 7 threes against Arkansas. And they got some more really talented, really good shooters. That's going to be a really good game for us. We're not taking them lightly, that's for sure. And it's like I said, these bye games, you feel like you have a lot more to lose, and especially when you're playing a good team like that, it's a lot of pressure. So we're definitely not taking them lightly. And then on Saturday we play, I believe it's USC Upstate, so South Carolina Upstate, and they're more low major rather than mid major like Winthrop. So that's a game where you can, feel maybe a little bit better going in. Obviously, don't take them lightly still, but really tough game coming Tuesday, and kind of a cleanup game on Saturday.
And take me through your preparation for a week like this a little bit. You guys have 2 games, and you mentioned Winthrop, a very capable opponent. What does the game planning look like from a timing perspective? Do you guys even think about South Carolina Upstate before this Winthrop game?
Nope. So every single game, you don't even look ahead. The coaches are going to be watching film, and like Charlie will be watching film of Upstate, I'm sure, before we play Winthrop. But you only look at the team you're about to play. We watched film on them this morning and had a light practice since we just came off back to back, and then we'll play some more live tomorrow in practice, get up and down again, and then go into Tuesday, have a shoot around that morning and play that night. And then I believe we're off Wednesday, and then have another 2-day prep for Saturday.
So, Krez, this is more of a baseball thing for guys like us, but there's a reason that baseball is played every single day. You kind of need to play every single day, right? To maintain that approach and to get your reps. And I feel like you might falter even after a single off day. Do you kind of feel the same way about that? Because I want to equate it to basketball in a sec.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with that. I feel like it's the same with basketball, though. It happens in the NBA playoffs all the time. Like, a team will sweep another team in the playoffs, and then they'll have a week and a half before they start their next series, right? And it just takes time to get back into that game flow. Like, you can't simulate games in practice as much as you try to. Like, you can do scrimmages and everything, but it's not going to be the same as going up against an opponent, right? I mean, tell me if I'm wrong about that, Sam, but that's my perspective on it at least. And I would say it's definitely the same with baseball. You want those real game reps, and that's really what gets you the most prepared for the upcoming games as well.
Yeah, so I wanted to equate that to basketball really quick. In your perspective, Sam, what does the back-to-back feel like? Are you a little bit tired from the day before, or does it make you sharper for that second game?
You're definitely, I mean, depending on how the game goes, you're definitely a bit beat up. I think I played like 30 some minutes against New Mexico. So, I mean, like for example, my right calf, I don't know what I did to it the night before, but I was really feeling that before the game and it got loose. And once you get the adrenaline of the game, your body feels fine on a back to back. But, it's tough to prep because you're so used to having multiple days and playing against the scout team in practice. You don't have that in a back to back. So, you got to be really paying attention to your film. You get like one chance to look at the team's plays in like a shoot around, but you don't play any live against them. And then you got to learn the tendencies of the players too. So it's tough in basketball. I mean, obviously it's way different than baseball, probably a little bit more physically taxing on your body. So you can't play so many days in a row. But yeah, I mean, when Krez was saying like you have to kind of play to get in the game flow, we can play against our scout team and kind of emulate what teams are going to do in practice and get a game feel. So when we're like not playing, you still can feel sharp with your game and going into it with a few days of prep.
One other team that I did want to just mention really quick that really impressed me last week was Michigan State. They beat a really good number 12 ranked Kentucky team 83-66. Jackson Kohler for Michigan State has been really good. He had 22 in that game. The Big Ten looks awesome this season, and you guys are coming up on conference season with a potential to be undefeated at that point. And I've seen some tweets of Husker fans that are kind of looking ahead to maybe that undefeated mark. And I know that you guys don't do that, but is that sort of a benchmark that you're looking for?
Yeah, 100%. We got these 2 games this week, and then I mean the the game following that is really maybe the biggest of the year for the fan base. We play Creighton that following Sunday, so that is a huge game for us. And they haven't looked the best this year. We're probably going to be favored, which is new because they've been so good the last few years. But if we can win these 2 by games coming up, and then handle Creighton, which would be amazing for me, so I could end with a winning record against Creighton in my career. That'd be pretty sweet. I know Rink really wants to win that one since the one that he played in, we got killed at home 2 years ago. But yeah, getting them at home is going to be a really good opportunity. I mean, if we can go into that one 9-0 and make it 10-0, that would be a really good feeling for the program.
You mentioned how big of a rivalry that is. I want to talk about some other rivalries because it's rivalry week in college football. So let's transition a little bit. This show is about positivity. We appreciate sports, but there becomes a point of the season where there are some hate weeks. So we're going to do a little bit of a spin, probably the only week of the year that we'll do it. But instead of our favorite team in sports today, I want to talk a little bit of rivalry with our least favorite team in sports today.
Can I get a celeb answer for this question?
Yeah. What do we got? All right. Henry Burt cameo for least favorite team in sports today. What do we got over here, fellas?
Iowa football.
Tell us why.
Well,
why are they least favorite team?
So the funny thing is my cousin actually plays football at Iowa now. I tried to get him to come to Nebraska and he didn't, so I was really pissed off about that. But I've always hated Iowa probably since I was born, so got to win this week.
Hey, it's a big one. Every rivalry game is a big one. And, anything can happen too. So
I mean, every year it's like a field goal. It comes down to the last 2 minutes of the game, and usually we end up losing. But I think this is our year, so
hey, just have the ball on that last possession.
exactly, that's all it is.
Speaking of those big rivalry games, we see what you're wearing, Krezzy. You got the M on. You want to talk some shit about Ohio State?
I would love absolutely nothing more. I saw a video of Dave Portnoy I saw him say something along the lines of, we may see the first ever college football coach piss his pants on the sideline on Saturday. And I totally agree. If Michigan gets off to a hot start, takes a 7-0 lead on Ohio State, Ryan Day might just fold. And I don't know what it is with that team. They're so good. They're the best team in the country, but there's like a mental block or something going on over there when they play the team up north. And I don't know, man. I got a good feeling we're going to be the underdogs. It's in Ann Arbor, so that helps Michigan out quite a bit, but it's going to be cold. I was looking at the weather. I think it's a high of 35 in Ann Arbor this weekend. And I don't know. I think that plays to Michigan really well. It's a smash mouth football team. They're going to try and run it right up your throat, and we'll see what happens. I like this Underwood kid. He doesn't really turn the ball over much. He hasn't really shown flashes as much as I thought he would this freshman year. He's been good, but like I said, he doesn't really turn the ball over. So I think if he can continue that trend against Ohio State, Michigan's going to be right in there with them. So I think it's going to be a good game, and that's another game that comes right down to the wire most every single year. But the fact that it's in Ann Arbor and Ryan Day is just scared shitless of Michigan to begin with, I like the Wolverines, baby. Let's go.
Does Michigan have any chance to make the playoff this year?
If they beat Ohio State on Saturday, it's very well possible. So we'll see.
So they have a lot more riding on this game than Ohio State, and they're going to be absolutely fired up. Obviously, Ohio State will too in a rivalry game, but I mean, you look at on paper, you think Ohio State's easily winning, but you cannot write off this Michigan team going into that game.
No, I agree, man. I mean, it's the game. Both these teams are they have so much hatred for each other. And like I said, every rivalry game anything can happen. And Michigan showed that last year. One of the worst Michigan teams in the last decade, probably. But we went into the horseshoe last year and got it done against the national champions. And I don't know, man. There's something about Ryan Day. He has a mental block against Michigan, and he hasn't beat him yet as the head coach there. And I think that trend's going to continue. I think Michigan's going to get it done.
Michigan's going to have to be able to run that ball in the game. I've been saying that 4 in red, Jeremiah Smith, is probably the best player in college football. And I don't think that he's really had to show it that much this year because Ohio State hasn't really been tested to the point where he has to touch the ball 10 times a game. But I think that you can expect to see that against Michigan. And I think it could end up being a battle of the running games. And if Michigan is able to stop that Ohio State offense, which has kind of been a juggernaut, but I think Matt Patricia has also been the MVP of college football this season. The Ohio State defense has been the best in the country too. I saw that they are averaging 9 points against in home games this season, which is just outrageous. But again, it's rivalry week and anything can happen. And Michigan was horrible last year. They went into Ohio State without a quarterback, really, and Ohio State couldn't even move the ball on them. So I really don't know what to think about this game. But Sam, you brought up Michigan's college football playoff implications. If Michigan beats Ohio State, they are 10-2, and they would have the best win in the country at that point. There is potentially another 10-2 Big Ten team, and they don't really have very many good wins. And it's hate week, just like every other week, but especially this week for the Oregon Ducks. My least favorite team ever, this week, every week. I fucking despise Oregon more than anything. I'll give them credit. They had a good win at home against USC last week. But let me give you some numbers. Oregon has beat 3 teams this season that are above 500. And they're the number 7 ranked team in the college football playoff rankings, probably going to go up. I don't get it because they don't have the wins. Their best win, besides going into the USC game, their best win was at Iowa, who isn't even ranked anymore. And I know the Huskers have a big one against them this weekend. But Oregon is going on the road this weekend. to the greatest setting. They're going to Seattle, Washington. Washington has lost once at home in the last 4 years. And Oregon has historically owned the Dogs. I'll acknowledge it. But I think Oregon is in for a rude awakening on Saturday. Jed Fish just hung 42 on UCLA and made that team look foolish, which they aren't great. But Damon Williams and this offense can score on anybody. And Oregon hasn't played any high-caliber offenses this year besides USC, and that game was at home last week. They have not had a true test on the road this season, and that place is going to be packed, and it's going to be bumping. I think the Ducks are in trouble, and if they lose that game, because Washington hates Oregon more than anything, and if they beat Oregon this week and Michigan beats Ohio State, I put Michigan in front of Oregon in the rankings. I also put a 2-loss Notre Dame ahead of Oregon in the rankings. I put a 2-loss Oklahoma. I put a 2-loss Alabama, and I even would put a 2-loss Miami ahead of Oregon just because of their wins. Oregon hasn't beat anybody. They beat USC and they beat Iowa. That's it.
Yeah, they had a good win at the time earlier this year against Penn State, but that turned out to be a horrific win because they're just awful. But
They're that awful.
yeah, like,
Beat
I don't
us
know.
27.
All right, I take it back. Not awful.
Video.
Yeah, no, but I agree, Mounds. Obviously, I've been at the greatest setting multiple times before for football games. That's a damn hard place to play, especially in a big rivalry game like this. Like you said, UW despises Oregon. Oregon despises UW, and that crowd's going to come ready to roll. Washington does have a really, really high-powered offense. They can score a lot of points, and it's going to be interesting to see how Oregon can handle that crowd because it's going to be rocking up in Seattle this weekend. That's for sure.
Well, and you mention it too. And what a lot of people don't realize is, yes, Seattle sports fans are great. We know how loud Seahawks fans are. The Mariner playoff games were bumping. There were literally earthquakes in Seattle during like 3 of the Mariner home playoff games this year because the ground was shaking because of the noise. But the Washington football stadium is modeled exactly the same as the Seahawks stadium where noise amplifies. And it's right there on the water. The noise bounces off the water. It's such a hard place to play. And Oregon has not played in a hostile environment this season.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one on the road.
I just want to say this is so kind of odd to me that all of our teams who are not in the same conference about 15 years ago are all in the same conference now. But yeah, these Big Ten games, we all got rivals in it now, so that makes it more fun.
Dude, Big Ten football, never been better.
And I want to add to the least favorite team of the week. Mine is also Iowa. Fuck Iowa. We're going to take it home this week. We're going to end on a high note, get to 8 wins for the first time in who knows how long, and maybe battle the Frogs in a bowl game.
That would be so fun.
I'd love nothing more than to see the Huskers and the Frogs duke it out in the whatever, the Pop-Tart Bowl or something.
Maybe the Alamo Bowl.
Why not? Give me the Alamo Bowl.
That's our championship right there.
That's the true national championship game.
That would be very fun. Where is the Nebraska-Iowa game this weekend?
It's in Nebraska on Friday.
Is that a night game?
I think it's a morning game.
Okay.
Or maybe afternoon. I don't know exactly when it is. It's not a night game though, and I think we have practice like during it, which really sucks. But I'll be paying attention. That's for sure.
All those big corn-fed country boys from Iowa are going to be stuffed from Thanksgiving the night before, and they're not going to be able to move. So I like the Huskers, baby. Come on now.
Come on.
Keep it rolling. All right. You guys got anything else for the people?
We do want to hear some more hotline calls. I'll say that. We didn't have any this week.
No, I know. I've been like reposting the number on the story too, and no one's given us.
You're gonna just have to send it to some personal people. Maybe send one to Diesel.
Yeah.
Diesel listens. He's gonna send one in. Diesel, we're talking to you. Give us a hotline call. Leave us a voicemail.
This part of the pod is directly targeted to Diesel. Give us a ring, man.
Call the number, Diesel.
yeah, we could use some more entertainment, some more content from our loyal listeners. Also, go ahead and rate us 5 stars wherever you're listening. Subscribe and do all that stuff. I think that we might be like low key shadow banned right now on Instagram because I kind of followed people too fast and then I like got blocked from following people for a couple days. So I think it might take a day to get our content back up on your feed, but give us some likes if you see it so you can target it towards everybody else, I guess. I don't know. It helps us out.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Also, buy some merch.
Yes, and buy merch. We've had merch orders. We have.
Shout out, Carol.
Indeed. My mom bought some stuff too.
Big shout out.
Indeed. And if you know anybody that owns a business, or if you own a business or a product, or you work for anybody or in advertising or something, we're looking for sponsors. Let us know if you want to sponsor the show. That's about all I got. Fuck Oregon.
Fuck Ohio State, too.
Iowa.
Rivalry week. Yes, sir. This will come out on Tuesday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Myself and Krez will be back on Friday. Should be joined by a fun special guest for that episode. You guys got anything?
All good, baby. Sam, keep winning ball games, and we got a good rivalry week this upcoming weekend. That's all I got.
Yep. Appreciate you, fellas.
Best of luck to the Huskers tonight. Tune in. They'll be taking on Winthrop at home in Lincoln. For Sam Hoiberg and Nick Kresnak, I'm Matthew Mounsey. Like, comment, subscribe.
Call God, baby.
See you guys next time.